obviously we're here to talk about football, but obviously there's some news about Bill this morning. I was wondering what your hears on.
Well, again, while we're out there, I did, I came in, my phone started, all different things asking me, and don't know much about it. Sounds like, everything through the statements, he's in good care and those things, and I think he's gonna, wish him the best. I'm fortunate that it happens at this time for his team and things, but I don't know enough to make comments to one way or another. But again, and that's my respect to him and his family and everything there, without making more from there.
I guess on the practice field, was your last practice before spring break. Are you pleased with the progress you guys have made?
Yes, I am. I would say there's always plenty to do, and that keeps us employed. But I like our attitudes, but we challenged them pretty well. I think we've probably increased our physicality of what we've been trying to ask and within the sessions, especially these last 4 practices, and that was Saturday, Sunday evening, and coming back Tuesday, and then more scrimmaging today. I thought they responded really well. Tuesday, I thought which is, I don't want to say normal, but it does happen where you kind of hit a little bit of a wall. I thought in the last quarter of the practice on Tuesday, it started to show itself a little bit. They were a little tired and things, but I thought we responded well today. We had officials and things, asked them to call things tight, and they did, and I think it gives us more things to have attention to detail and cleaning up, and gives us stuff to work with as we come back off the break. But our attitude, our effort, our retention, what we're doing, all those things, you can see the difference of where we're at in our second spring, where we're at with those extra practices. So pleased that direction.
And you mentioned scrimmaging. Had you guys done that at all before today?
No, we had like a little bit of a one period of time where we've had some also incorporates more like one-on-one opportunities to try to minimize what piles would be in that, and then had one little live session one other time, but this is by far the most. I think we had 75 total reps between the 3 units today, so it's still balanced enough within the guys. We're not very healthy at running back right now, and hopefully that gets better after spring, where we can get out there. But it's the benefit of that is Dylan McDuffie's gotten a lot of work and get a good chance to see what ways he could help us. Thank goodness he has a familiarity with what we do offensively, that it's made it go smoothly. But yeah, there's some good things happening. Some guys are showing up, and again, we're taking good steps forward.
Yeah, and obviously a long way away from what a scrimmage will look like probably in August. But what'd you like about what you saw from the guys that were out there scrimmaging today?
I think up front, holistically, again, never is. I always say some of those. I always wait till I watch the film, because many times in my career, it's never as good as you think it is, or more importantly, it's never as bad as you think it is. And I was just talking to Coach Borland. It wasn't like wow, and it wasn't like oh boy. But offensively, I think guys like Kobe Baines, Amarje, we're trying to be more physical up front, and I like where we're heading in that direction. Logan Brown had missed a few days. Didn't know if we were going to have him today. He's out there playing. That was encouraging. Guys want to be out there. That in and of itself, to get better and establish themselves. So I like that. Jalen had some reps, but Jason and Ethan took the majority. I still liked where they're progressing. So defensively, JB Brown's a guy that there's a few times of practice now he'll really show up. Tristan Fletcher's a guy that showed up. I think Cornell Wheeler's had a good start to spring at the linebacker core that we continue to get depth. Again, Tywan Berryhill's a guy that, again, when he continues to put it all together, I think can be really, really good football player. OJ Burrows has been very steady. I like where Jalen Dye continues to develop and strength, confidence, and then putting it together on the field. So, Austin Booker has shown flashes. I'm going to leave people out when I do this, and you know I always try to prevent that, guys, but that's just off the start of some things that's happening.
Are you liking what you're seeing out of the wide receivers at this point? Like, is anyone emerging, or is it still too soon?
It's still soon on the emerging part. I still see the same kind of cast of characters, so to speak. Tanaka Scott's been slowed. Doug Edelman's been slow. He missed just a day or so at the beginning, but he's kind of come back. Tanaka missed a little bit more, was out there today. The steadiness of the core of itself, along with our tight ends, is what I really like. And we've continued to kind of, LJ's been very, very steady. I don't want to take away like somebody's not doing something. Luke Grimm continues to work. I think Luke has really worked hard off the field, and in the weight room, in his leadership and things like that. I'd probably be remiss if I don't talk about Torrey Lachlan and the continued role that he continues to evolve into. So I like where that is, and that gives us that versatility that we always talk about that we need. Because especially with, Daniel hasn't practiced yet. Devin's barely, practiced a little bit the first day and really hasn't gone much since. Simeon Morrison hasn't practiced much. So the part where we had the versatility last year in the backfield last September, we haven't been able to work on yet, and so we're able to do it with tight ends and receivers in different ways.
And Coach Samuel was talking the other day about yards after catch is what he's looking at. Is that the same for you, or are you looking elsewhere?
Yeah, we're looking at all that stuff because again, we always tell our guys what are those, what is the difference for us? The difference for us to keep closing gaps and finding ways to win more ball games. And what is it? Is it another first down? Is it keeping drives alive in a certain way? It might be fighting for yards after contact on first or second down to give you a better chance on third down. Same thing on the other side, our physicality to come downhill and make plays and get more people around the ball, improving our tackling skill, whatever it is that might get you off the field when you need to get off the field. So we're trying to really emphasize those things. It's in the details, and I think that and the part about yards after catch and yards after contact are very important.
Lance, I don't know how much you've worked on special teams or seen the guys there. How does Seth Keller look?
Seth's done a very nice job so far, as well as Charlie. I think all the guys have. Owen continues to get better. He's a big, raw, strong-legged. I don't know if it's ever going to call for you got to have a righty or a lefty versus the wind, John. But I like our depth there and the competition. Jacob Patillo is not is still in rehab and off of injury and surgery. So, but very competitive, but very pleased so far. We lost Luke Hosford last year during the season, our starting long snapper, to an ACL. He's limited in what he's doing, so full timing isn't there in some of our full group stuff. But Emery's done a nice job stepping into that role. But we're not quite where we want to be in our backup snapping situation. So some of that timing and execution time gets a little bit, it's a work in progress, I guess, the best way to say it. But, and again, most of our practice has been inside except the Sunday night, so the punting game hasn't had a chance to be fully evaluated. But I do feel we've improved and we're getting better at the field goal and kicking spot. And part of that, John, I guess you'd say, is right now we haven't relied a lot on Tabor because of the guys at that position. Tabor hasn't had to get into the field goal extra point stuff very much, which keeps his leg fresh, and because he's done such an excellent job for us in the kickoff area.
You mentioned Jalen and OJ, especially in that secondary. I wonder if those guys or others are showing maybe some leadership qualities that are allowed to emerge with Kenny out. And
Yeah,
that kind of
and Kenny's personality, along with his experience, kind of allows that because he's a vocal guy and he does it. So it is. I think that was part of at least in my thought, is like, if there's a small plus of making sure Kenny was healthy, fully healthy as can be headed in August, it was going to pay dividends in other ways, and that's one of them. And Mason Ellis is another one that we want, but Mason's been out ill, and so he's missed a little time. But yeah, OJ's pretty reserved young man in that, but that doesn't mean he's not, as you know, not a good football player, and he knows it. But now you're the experienced guy back there, and you have to go. Same thing with Jalen. He's got a little bit of a personality like OJ. He's not gonna say a lot unless you talk to him or ask him, but that does force those guys to do it and communicate in other ways. Same thing, again, Romello Dotson is another one that is a guy who's played a lot now, and it's not just the safety communication, it's corner to safety likewise, and we want those corners to equally be vocal on things. So I think those are all going to be positives after we wrap up spring.
Is it harder to push guys to bring that out, especially in spring, than maybe it is for yards after the catch or pushing a skill or a physical thing?
Yeah, we try to work on it. You try to work in leadership, because a lot of it is, sometimes it's a person's personality. Sometimes with younger players, they're just trying to figure it out for themselves, and then the speed of the game, and then you make it live, and there's a lot of things. And so hopefully it's, I would say, how we practice, whether it be through noise, whether it be through the pace, and then hopefully with reps comes confidence. And I say, we all say there sometimes is, even defensively, it may not be the call that we wanted if somebody made a check or something, but if they communicate it and they're all on the same page, at least you have a chance. The problem is when some guy's thinking, well, I thought he said this or this, and then you got half doing one and half doing the other, or 8 and 3 or whatever. Well, we all say is if you're vocal in what you're doing and you make a decision, you go with it, at least we get everybody on the same page. And that's things that I think will come out of this. And, same thing with Marvin not practicing, that again, OJ and Jalen and those guys get that. So
I'm curious with Tommy Dunn. Looks a little bit different than he did at the Liberty Bowl. How impressed have you been?
In what way?
Oh, just physically.
Mm-hmm.
I think looks bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been impressed with his off-season work and what have you seen?
Very much. And as soon as you said it, in fact, as soon as I stopped mentioning guys, I'm like, well, I didn't mention like Tommy and DJ, and I went through. So I was like, Tommy it continues to evolve is probably the best way. Physically, you can see a difference. Coach Panagos came up to me just the other day talking about Tommy's ability to articulate what's happening and what he does in meetings and things, and he called him one night to ask a question, the kid in Tommy is starting to leave, and really Tommy's becoming a man, and he's going to be a good football player. DJ Wither's another one of those that you see become, more confident in what he's doing, more comfortable where he's at, and his ability to, talk, communicate, and go, and that's part of all of us just maturing. And I've seen it in a lot of different ways in my career. Sometimes it's young men with getting academic success builds their confidence, that allows them to articulate themselves, and then to articulate themselves on the field differently, and all those. But I think Tommy and DJ are some of those guys that are really starting to do that.
And you mentioned J.B. Brown, I think each of the times we've talked to you recently. What do you like about what he brings in terms of just a linebacker position? Like, where do you see him kind of fitting in?
He plays fast and he's physical. And, now we got to get it, he's got to understand it when to go, and there's things to clean up, but I like the way he plays the game. And it's just what we were hoping we were going to get. And I really think he's going to help us.
And holistically with the newcomers, just what have you thought about their adaptation process?
Oh, I'm very good right now, and I want to credit our coaches and them at the same time, because I think how we've gone about installing and getting walkthroughs and doing things, we continue to try to maximize our time and give them opportunities. I haven't heard a coach say that this guy isn't picking it up. I haven't had someone say, I don't know if we missed on this. We got some concerns. I think everyone for pretty much where it is at this moment for their role and where they're gonna be in competing for playing time and all that, I think we're on a good pace with all of them.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, guys, have a good day.